What if I told you destroying an economy isn't hard? It doesn't take a war. It doesn't take a natural disaster. All it takes is a government making the wrong choices, consistently, confidently, and sometimes with the best intentions. Venezuela had more oil than Saudi Arabia. Zimbabwe was once called the breadbasket of Africa. Argentina was one of the wealthiest nations on earth. So what happened? Economic collapse doesn't announce itself. It creeps in slowly through policies that sound reasonable, decisions that feel patriotic, and leaders who promise prosperity. Today we're going to walk through the exact playbook used, accidentally or deliberately, to bring thriving economies to their knees. This is not a political attack on any one side. This is history, and history repeats unless you understand it. Here are the 6 most reliable ways to destroy an economy. Step 1. Print money like it's going out of style. When a government owes more than it earns, there's a tempting shortcut. Just make more money. It sounds logical. More money means more spending. More spending means more growth, right? Wrong. When you flood a market with currency, the value of every existing dollar, or peso or bolivar, drops. Prices rise. People's savings evaporate overnight. And what started as a financial shortcut becomes a death spiral. In Weimar Germany in the 1920s, a loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. In Zimbabwe in 2008, inflation hit 89.7 sextillion%. In Venezuela, people were using banknotes as napkins because the paper was worth more than the money printed on it. You can't print your way to prosperity. You can only print your way to poverty. Step 2. Make it impossible for people to own things. Property rights are the invisible foundation of every functioning economy. When people know their land, their business, their savings are safe, they invest, they build, they take risks. But the moment a government starts seizing farms, nationalizing private companies, or changing the rules mid-game, investors run. And they don't just take their money, they take their skills, their networks, their innovation. Zimbabwe's economic collapse accelerated after land reform in the early 2000s. Productive farms were seized, agricultural output collapsed, food shortages followed almost immediately. The cruel irony? Policies designed to redistribute wealth ended up destroying it for everyone. Capital is cowardly. It goes where it's treated well. Attack it, and it disappears. Step 3. Close yourself off from the world. No country on earth produces everything it needs. Trade is how nations survive and grow. But protectionist tariffs, import bans, and trade wars feel powerful in the short term. They sound like patriotism. Buy local, support your own. But when you cut off trade, you cut off competition. And without competition, industries become lazy, expensive, and obsolete. North Korea, Cuba, the Soviet Union. Isolation doesn't build strength, it builds stagnation. Step 4. Let corruption eat the institutions from the inside. Courts that rule for whoever pays more. Police that protect the powerful. Regulators who look the other way. When institutions lose their integrity, trust evaporates, and trust is the foundation of every economy. No business invests in a country where contracts mean nothing. No entrepreneur starts a company where the government is their biggest competitor, and they always win. Corruption doesn't just steal money, it steals the future. Step 5. Spend today, let tomorrow worry about itself. Debt isn't always bad. Used wisely, it builds infrastructure, funds education, drives growth. But when debt becomes a lifestyle, when governments borrow not to invest but just to survive, the clock starts ticking. Argentina has defaulted on its national debt 9 times. Every default destroys credibility. Borrowing costs rise, the currency weakens, and eventually the country becomes trapped, desperate, and unstable. Debt is a tool. Used recklessly, it cuts the hand that holds it. Step 6. Take control of the central bank. Central banks exist for one reason: to keep money stable. They're supposed to be independent, predictable, and boring. But when politicians interfere, cutting rates for popularity or printing money to fund promises, everything unravels. Turkey's currency lost over 80% of its value in less than a decade, in part due to political interference in interest rate decisions. The moment monetary policy serves power instead of stability, the economy is on borrowed time. Here's the truth about economic destruction: it's always preventable. Every country that suffered collapse was warned. Every warning was ignored, not always out of malice, but often out of desperation, ideology, or short-term thinking. But economies aren't fragile by nature. They're resilient. They recover. They rebuild. Estonia went from Soviet collapse to a digital.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, because the next video might change the way you see the world. See you in the next episode.